we want to really encourage people to take that next step in their networking journey, and reach out to new people, right? Like make those new connections. Like there are hundreds of unbelievably passionate educators from all over the world in the chat right now. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to capitalize on that moment and try and make new friends and make new connections? Because that's what it's all about. If you don't do that, you kind of become a bit of an island. And, you know, islands are great when it comes to just working by yourself. I know some people like to be lone wolves, but I wanted to share a little bit as you know, about my experiences as well in my network, and then obviously you know, take it out to our incredible guest speakers today. But what we do have, which we wanted to try out, was we've got this icebreaker, which we want you all to get involved in, okay? And it's a Wakelet collection. We're going to share it in the chat shortly. And I just want you to answer the questions on the Wakelet collection. I know that Amy, you've got this prepared, right? You want to show this off?
Yes, so I'm going to showcase it now, and then we're like Liz said, we're going to pop it on so that everyone can jump into this. So we'll make sure that you have the link to this. But really, we wanted to kick off the session by having you join this collection and let us know what your focus is on this summer. If you're going to sessions like this one or any others throughout the summer, what do you want to focus on? What do you want to learn? And what do you want to get out of the PD sessions and the training that you're doing this summer? So we've got a few options on here. So we'd love for you to join the collection, put a bit more specific information about what you're wanting to learn as well, because it will help us shape any future training. But it doesn't have to be just Wakelet. It's about anything at all that you want to get out of and learn throughout the summer. And then what we'd love for you to do is put in your Twitter into the column that best represents maybe what you want to learn and get out of the summer. And then hopefully at the end, we've got loads of people in lots of different columns, and then you'll find other educators that want to learn similar and want to focus on that similar thing. So you can share sessions that maybe that you're attending, and you know others who want to focus on that as well will like. So eventually we'll have a really great collaborative collection, and then we'd love for you to connect with each other. There might be someone else who really wants to know a bit more about PD curation or creating a portfolio, and then maybe you can link up and catch up with each other towards the end of the summer as well, and sort of exchange notes and things like that, and see what each other has sort of picked up throughout that as well. So if you join this collection, I'll put this link in the chat, and if you just join it through this link here, you'll be able to then add to any of these columns, and we'll keep it kind of as a back channel. So if you want to jump on it as we're speaking now, you can, but if you want to add to it throughout the session, you can as well. There is another column, like I said, here. So if you want to add anything that you can't see on here just yet, please do. But we'd love to see your ideas and what really you want to focus on learning and creating, and taking away from all of the training sessions and things like that you're doing. And in turn, you'll meet others and connect with others who want to learn the same as well. So yeah, we'll pop that in the chat, jump on that one, and then we'll check back on that one in just a moment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. Yeah, that link is in the chat right now. So give it a click and get involved in the icebreaker session. As Amy said, we're going to be looking back at this collection after you've had your sessions, after you've chosen, and taking a look at some of the stuff that you guys are going to get involved in. And really, it's just a chance to kind of see what other people are up to, get a little bit of inspiration. But take advantage of this, because you're going to meet some incredible people here today. You know, use the chat to exchange Twitter handles, email addresses, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, because these are really powerful ways of expanding your network. Okay, so like for me, I'm not the biggest fan of the word network. When I think of like networking, I kind of think of like old school kind of like corporate, you know, like I'm busy networking. I like to think of it, and this is inspired by my friend Ken Shelton, I like to think of it of like growing your circle, right? Because a circle is a little bit more intimate, and you know, there's a little bit more thought that's being put out there. So even though we're going to be using the word networking, really think about it as your circle. And for me, expanding my circle has been probably one of the most like transformative things for not only my personal growth, but also my professional growth as well, for a number of different reasons. Networking and expanding the group of people that I interact with on a daily basis has helped me so much, not only in my career, not only for Wakelet, but also just on a personal, emotional level. So if you're a shy person. Like I'm naturally quite introverted. I am naturally quite shy. I'm not usually the first person to like kind of take that first step, but you have to be, right? Like you have to take that first step, make that follow, post, like I said, post your Twitter handle out, really be proactive, because that's the only way that you can really build up that circle in the way that you want. So there are certain things that have improved a lot since growing out of my circle and taking active steps to try and do that. The first one is advice, right? So the amount of people that I can reach out to for advice has got so much bigger. And this is not just like personal advice, but it's advice about Wakelet. It's advice about like my profession, the things that we're doing at work. So things like initiatives, programs, ways to look at the community, activities to do with the community, the platform, certain things like features, reaching out and getting that advice from people that really care about you and care about the things that you're doing is so important. And you can only do it once you populate your network and populate your circle with people that you want to listen to. And also giving advice as well. We all like to give advice. I'll check my Twitter DMs sometimes and I'll see that somebody's just got in touch because they just want advice. Maybe they're taking the next step in their career. Maybe they're moving from teaching into tech. Maybe they've got like a project or an initiative that they're planning and they just wanted to see, what tips can you give? And there's something really human and there's something that makes you feel really good about actually giving that advice to somebody. The next thing is opportunities. So we're all on the lookout for opportunities, and you can create your own. And a lot of the time that comes through, again, growing your network. So opportunities might come when you least expect them. Things for me, for example, I'll quite often get asked to appear on webinars, to appear on podcasts. There'll be opportunities to have like partnerships and things with new companies. And again, that comes from me actively commenting on people's tweets, making sure that I follow people that follow me, lots of stuff that you can do to just kind of fill that out. Opportunities will come the more that you grow that circle out. Also like opinions, just getting an opinion on somebody. This kind of links with advice, but opinions are really, really useful. Sometimes it might not be like necessarily what you want, but that feedback really, really helps you grow, right? So if I have a new project that I want to get someone's opinion on, sometimes it's even just, I know that like the design team will quite often share things like graphics with our ambassadors and with people in the community to be like, what do you think this is? Does this capture the Wakelet spirit? And you can't do that if you're by yourself. And then the last thing, which I think is probably for me the most personal thing, is emotional support. Having people in my network that I know I can go to and they are going to cheer me up. They're going to make me feel better about myself. They're going to remind me about our vision. They're going to remind us about our purpose. And I would recommend trying to get people that may not necessarily think the exact same way as you, because diversity of opinion is really good, but like pick people that you feel a connection with, and reach out to them, let them know, hey, I'm feeling a little bit down right now. I could do a little bit of help here, a little bit of support, and then also being there for other people as well. So those are just a few ways that I personally have found, once you take those proactive steps to grow your circle out, really, really good things can come from there. And today we're going to be speaking with Amy Storer, Don Sturm, and Ryan McGinnis. And we're going to be hearing a little bit about, a number of different subjects actually. But before we begin, I just wanted to get an introduction from you guys, and then also a quick answer to that question, which is, what steps have you taken to grow out your circle, and how has it benefited you on like a personal and professional way? Don, should we start with you?
Sure.
There we go.
Hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So my name's Don Sturm. I am a tech integration specialist in Morton, Illinois, which is the dead center of Illinois, and was a classroom teacher for 23 years, and I'm just starting my 9th as tech integration specialist. So happy to be here. Love Wakelet. It was funny as you were talking, I'm like, oh, that's what my small group is about. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's been transformative for me. I go all the way back probably 7 or 8 years ago when I got involved in a Voxer chat and all those things you said, and I'm going to elaborate on my experience a little bit more. it opens up things that you just would have never done before. It sometimes makes you uncomfortable. I've had the opportunity of meeting many of the Wakelet people. I've met Amy Storr. Kimberly is in here. It's just, I've written a couple of chapters for books. It's just, it's hard to quantify. It's hard to put into words, but it has been transformative for me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I share the exact same thing. I think the opportunities that come from it are next level. And I know that you're going to be speaking about social media and PD, and that's a really, really important part of all of this. So you guys can, when we're ready to do the breakouts, if anybody wants to hear about social media and PD and hear a little bit more about Don's journey, then pick his room. Thank you so much, Don. Next up, we've got Ryan McGinnis. How's it going, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah. So same question, really, Ryan. Let's hear a little bit about yourself, and then how have you found how has growing your network out, taking a proactive approach to it? How's it benefited you both personally and professionally?
Yeah, so I think I joined Twitter like 7 years ago, and it was like dabbling my foot in for the first time, just trying to see what it is. I'm from a very remote section. I know you said like middle of nowhere, Bradford, Pennsylvania. Like we're 90 miles south of Buffalo, 90 miles east of Erie, so a little bit of nowhere. But for me, Don's word was transformative. I think mine is opportunity, a chance to look for different avenues and expand my horizons and see different viewpoints and just look at what can be possible. I know for myself, it's been about collaboration, communication, opening doors that I didn't think were ever possible. And I'm really excited about just opportunities that are coming up. And I think all of that is a aspect of growing from my PLN, sharing, gathering, and just learning from one another. So I'm really excited about that and turning that around with PD aspects.
Awesome stuff. And you're going to be talking about delivering those PD sessions as well. So if anybody's interested in that, then head over to Brian's breakout room once we break up. And next up, of course, we have the amazing Amy. Amy, how's it going? Same question to you.
Hi, can you hear me good?
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. And we were talking about weather earlier, and I was like, y'all, speaking of y'all, I live in Texas. It's like a high of like 115 not too long ago. So it's kind of warm here. It's still very warm. I don't think it's ever going to stop until, I don't know, maybe December. But my name is Amy Storr, and I am a lead learning guide at Fry Technology here in Texas. Prior to that, I was an instructional coach and a tech integration mentor, and I was also have experience in the classroom as well, but living the dream with my Fried fam as for sure right now. So I don't know where I would be. I don't know how my life would be if I had never taken the chance to join Twitter. And at the time, kind of like Ryan said, like I was already involved with Facebook and Instagram. I was like, I don't need another social media platform to deal with. And I created an account, took it kind of slow like he did as well, but it has transformed. I'm gonna use the word again. It has changed my life. The people that I've met, and not just like-minded people, the people, individuals who push my thinking, who challenge me. Don and I, he had mentioned a Voxer group that we had met in, and that group turned into a family for us. We traveled together to ISTE and presented. It's just, you meet people that you will never meet. I mean, I'm in Plantersville, Texas. There are people that I know, like Leticia, my sis, who's here in this call right now, that I would have never met if it had not been for social media. And we are family now. So it's just one of those things that I just took a chance on that little Twitter platform and formed such great relationships who have not only pushed my thinking when it comes to education, but also when it comes to being a good human being. So I'm just proud to be a part of the entire community of educators that I know.
Amazing. Yeah. And that like being a human being, that's what it's all about, like keeping things as human as possible and making those connections is so important. Awesome. So speaking of that, actually, and sorry, Amy, if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about PD and curation and how those two things interlink, then head to Amy's session. It's going to be incredible. Okay, so we're right about that time where we're going to take a look at the icebreaker activity that we shared really quickly. Amy, do you want to pull that up and share some of the responses we've had?
I do, because it is looking fantastic. I'm loving seeing everyone's shares on here, and everyone's jumping on and getting involved in the chat, and I love to see it. So yeah, we've got so many of you jumping on here as well, putting in your Wakelet, which I love as well. Follow each other on Wakelet, follow each other on Twitter. But as you can see, we've got Farid there, wanting to know more about sharing Wakelet. Elizabeth Polo there as well, Citizen. So lots of you have jumped on, which is so lovely to see. So make sure, I mean, like I said, I'll keep this going in the background. Stormy there as well about creating portfolios, Christy there as well. So it's fantastic to see everyone jumping on here. And yeah, what we'd love for you to do is connect with each other and, you know, check in, see if there's if anyone has on any of these particular topics as well, any cool resources or any training sessions that either they're doing or they know of as well. Please pop them in there. What we'll also do is we'll put in any webinars and links in at the end and any resources we have, and we'll just fill up any Wakelet resource with that as well, just so you can have a little look through those. But as you can see, Renee's doing now a new language, love that. I really want to learn ASL there from Erin, which is really cool to see. But it's lovely seeing that everyone's jumping on here and sharing our ideas. I've done there on that one. But yes, I'll see if there's anything in the other. Oh, there's an other there. Rhonda putting in the other there. Love to know what the other is. So if there's anything else that you'd like to know, pop in a little bit of text just about anything else that you're exploring or you're wanting to find out a bit more about over the summer as well. But it's really cool to see. And like I said, we'll keep it going on in the background. So if you think of anything whilst you're going through as well, and whilst you're jumping into each of our wonderful speaker sessions, and you want to know more of anything else, we'll keep this open and can keep adding to those as well. But yeah, really cool. I love this. And you know, it highlights my favorite columns layout as well. So I can't take credit for this one. This is the wonderful Elle who's put this together from the team. But yes, I do love the column layout. It's a great way to collaborate and have these kind of discussion type channels going on as well, which is really cool. So we can see that in action there. But yeah, I'll put in the link again just so everyone has it, just in case. And then yeah, everyone can just keep jumping on as and when they'd like to.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much.
So, hey, everybody. I will not take all that long. Together. What I did is drop another collaborative Wakelet into the chat. And so what I was asked to kind of talk about is called building an online PLN, but it's more that I think it's the mechanics maybe of how you start using Twitter. And I am a Twitter user. I think you could probably make the same argument for Instagram and Facebook. I really think that Twitter for me has been that game changer. So I am going to, if there's any way that I could get the ability of sharing my screen, if not, at the top of the collaborative Wakelet, you will see a GIF that's there. I can't remember if I put it in as a GIF. Yep, I did, which is kind of the organizational points that I wanted to talk about. And it is that idea of, okay, so you have this app, this service that has this little blue bird on it that people like become overwhelmed with it. Like, what do I do with it? I don't know. Nobody ever hears me. I'm on it. I don't know what to do with it. And so really, the four things that I put down there seem very simple, but it's that idea of thinking, what do you want from a PLN? Whether it is whether you label that as a personal learning network, professional learning network, whatever description you use for it, starting to think before you get involved, what am I trying to do with this? Because if you have no concept of what you want to do with it, then you are dabbling in a lot of things, not necessarily a bad thing. But if you know going into it, I am really trying to find right now math resources. That's going to set you off on a certain to a certain point that then will allow you to pull in what you want. The more you pull in what you want and make connections with what you want, then you start to get that. It's kind of like those baby steps. So I mean, really thinking about what you want from your PLN. I use the term lurking. And as I say here, lurking is okay, but contributing is better. I think we all start out lurking. Those people who know me, I didn't really start out lurking. I started out going about 100 miles an hour, but lurking's okay. And looking at what other people are doing, but the more you contribute, the more that you give back to the community that you start to build. I think it's, for me, it's that there's that intrinsic thing that I think I have something to share. I'm not trying to brag about things, but here's something I'm trying to share. I'm going to throw it out there. Sometimes it flops, and you know what? If it flops, you just try again. And if that flops, then you try again. And all of a sudden it will be like, you'll make a connection that you had not made before. And so I think that contributions are extremely important. One of the other aspects of your online PLN, and I put down here, engage with your favorite authors. I use that as an example. I think sometimes we assume that we're here and all these people that have done all these cool things are way up here. And what you find out is they're really some of them are up here and some of them will not engage with you. And we just need to be perfectly honest about that. If you look at somebody's Twitter, the people they are following versus how many follow them, you're going to get a good idea of whether you're going to get reactions back from them. If you see somebody that they follow 5 people, but they have 400,000 followers, chances are they're not going to engage with you. But the number of people that will, my favorite, honestly, is I'm a huge Smart People podcast fan. I have connected with Smart People podcast, and it is so cool to think, okay, here are these guys that have produced a podcast for 10 years, and we're engaging with each other on a daily basis. Lauren Tarshish is somebody, and I never know if I'm saying her name right. I got her to come into a 4th grade classroom in our district, and the teacher was like, how did that happen? And I was like, you know what I did? I asked her. Like, that's literally all I did. And so being able to connect, and whether it's your favorite author, creator, I mean, any of those things, I think is good from your PLN. And then the other one that I think sometimes is overlooked, and quite honestly, it was for me, because I got into Twitter. This is nothing bad about my district, but I was that, those of you know me, be nice. I was that weirdo in the school that was fixated on education all the time. Like, it didn't matter. When I left, my hobby and interest was education. And there weren't a lot of other people in my district. And so I really felt like Twitter was something that was getting me out into the world, and I was experiencing other people and ideas. But what I really found out is the more I conducted PD in my district and shared Twitter, the more people got on board that were in my district, and the more connections I made at a local level. One of my best friends is Stephanie Crawford, and she's great at like gamification and things like that. Literally found out through connecting that we were 20 miles apart. And once we found that out, then we became really good friends. And so I've gotten more people in my district involved. And it really does help you connect, not just on this global scale, which is important, and not just on a national scale, which is important, but then also that the people that are in the schoolroom 5 miles away from you that sometimes won't invite you in, they're the ones then that start seeing that value of Twitter. And so what I did is I put in the link, or let's see, I'll drop it in here again. And it really just asks you, I think the nice thing about Wakelet, and I've been a huge fan for years, is that ability of collaborating with those people that you meet. It's not just connecting by tweeting at each other. It's really starting to think about what can I do with someone else. And so I dropped in 2 questions, basically. Who are you? I just put add your Twitter profile below. That gives us the ability of following each other. And then I put adding your favorite hashtags, people, groups, authors, etc. that you follow. I always find those people that is, you know, I'm like, oh, I've never even heard of that author before. I've never even heard of that teacher before. So when you get a chance to do that, if you would drop that in there, and that is, Amy, it looked like your lights went out.
I said
but
so
that
for
will
too
then
long.
give us something to, yeah, it's like all of a sudden it was off. So, all right, I think with that, because there are 2 other people that need to go, I'm going to go ahead and end my time. I appreciate, oh, you know what? I'm going to drop another one in here. I did something today as I was sitting looking, a collaborative story that, you know, take a look at it. And if you want to add, feel free to do that. We're just kind of seeing where that goes. I guess I need to share that with more than just Wakelet. So, all right, thank you, everybody. And like I said, I'll turn it over to whoever is next.
That's a
I
good
can go
question.
next if that's cool. Oh, sorry. Was
Perfect.
that Ryan?
No, go for it. Go for it.
Thank you so much, Don. Yeah, over to Amy or Ryan, whoever wants to jump in next. But Amy on screen, so I'll pass it over to you. You should be able to share. So
Yeah,
I'll
thank
stay
you.
here until it can.
Yeah, and if you see these lights go off, so I'm in my old elementary campus where I used to work. I'm visiting, and if you sit still for too long, it's energy efficient, so it will turn off. So yeah, just
so you have to do the waving thing.
Wave my hands a little bit. Yeah. All right, I'm going to drop in the link that I was going to share in those breakouts, but there it is for you. My goal with you, our time together, is just to share with you a tiny bit of how I use Wakelet as a presenter. I think Ryan's going to touch on that a little bit more. And then the main point of our conversation is curating PD notes when you attend sessions, much like today. So, you know, you can't share your screen unless you say you're going to share your screen. So I'm sharing my screen with you right now.
Fab,
All right.
yes, we're good.
Awesome. You should see that. All right. So this is all about how to grow your network with Wakelet us today. Donna did such a great job with his part earlier. You have that link in the presentation. You know me. If not, there I am, Amy Store. So I will touch on briefly about using Wakelet to present. When I first discovered Wakelet, I was out of the classroom. And so I never got the chance to use it with students, but I learned how to use it as an adult learner, as an instructional coach. And I was literally finding ways to use it. Like, how else could I use Wakelet? And I remember when I started to present on Wakelet, I was like, well, I wonder, I mean, I could build it in a Google slide or Microsoft PowerPoint or a Canva. I'm like, but why don't I just present Wakelet from a Wakelet? And it's such a great tool to use because it houses all the things you need, the images, the links, the text. I just love it. So this right here is going to take you to just an example. I'm a twin. My twin sister's name is Diane, and we're sometimes known as the Tech Care Twins. She's a school counselor. I'm a tech integration person. And so we came together and joined forces when the pandemic hit to support school counselors with tech integration. And so this is just an example of how a presentation might look when you build it on Wakelet. I'll talk about how I love to use graphics to break up the content, but you literally build it just like you would if you were building on any other platform. And then you can easily share it with the participants. You can make it interactive like Don was talking about. And so this is just an example. Feel free to go through that and see what that looks like. This just happens to be one that my sister and I created together. But the heart of our conversation is how to curate your notes when you attend professional learning experiences like today or anything beyond today. I remember I was sitting at a Region Center conference, and I'm old school. I love taking notes, paper and pencil, you know, pen in hand. That's powerful. I've kind of evolved into a hybrid, and I like to do digital notes and I like to do handwritten notes. But I remember sitting in a session thinking, I could use Wakelet to take notes while I'm here, and then I could just click the share button, share it with my colleagues, and they can see the notes that I got from this session. Well, then Wakelet took it even further and created a PD curation template. So when you click here, it's going to take you to a template that Wakelet created that you can make a copy of. So how do you make a copy of it? Do you see these 3 dots here? Someone on Facebook or Twitter a while back posted that they are now referring to these as the drama dots, ... So you're going to click the drama dots and you're going to click copy. And that's going to make a copy that will then live in your Wakelet account. Okay. So when you make a copy of this, you can come back and you can change the image if you want to. You can change the text. You can change anything. It's yours to now edit and revise as needed. But they've built like the bones of it, like the pieces that you need, and all you have to go back in is just add some things underneath it, add your notes, add what you need to remember the learning that took place. So it looks like this. You put your session title here, you add your links here, important notes, any resources, and then it just repeats. This is the next session that you attended. Here's where you put all your important notes here as well. And you of course could duplicate these and reuse them as such, but it's just a great place to store all of the learning that takes place. And then when you're done, you quickly share it with others. You could even, if Dawn and I were attending, I saw Jen was in here, Jen Hall, who's a fantastic presenter and educator. If Dawn and I were attending her session together and we wanted to collaborate on this together and take notes while we were in the room together, we could do so. So it's just great. I love it. Such a great way to store all of your notes. Now, something else that I put on my Wakelet, I put a link to all of the templates that Wakelet provides. There are so many to choose from, including some from my twin sister, Diane Wilson. So check those out. I included some tips that I like to use when I'm curating or even presenting from Wakelet. I like to add in, like what you see here, these custom banners. I like to add in banners that I've designed in places like Canva, but you could use any sort of design tool you like. Adobe, I always want to call it Adobe Spark. Creative Cloud Express, you could use Google Drawings, you name it, whatever you're comfortable with, use it. I happen to love Canva. I love it. And I created this by using the dimensions for the Google Classroom header. It just fits nicely. And literally all I had to do was change what was here, and I downloaded it as images, and I add them here just to break up the different pieces, to break up my thoughts, so it's easy to read for myself, but also easy to read for others. Also, another tip that I would love to share with you when you start to use this for your note taking is in your profile on your homepage. Oh, let me get back over here. I would suggest, this is just a suggestion, it helps me stay organized, but on your homepage of Wakelet, consider creating a section over here that can house all of your PD notes so you can keep track of them as you're attending various sessions and conferences. Just an idea, and to do that, you just click on Edit Profile, and you're able to come over here and add in a different section that you can then organize your different collections in. And then I also put collaborate and share. So once you're done creating, once you're done adding your ideas and thoughts, click that share button up here at the top and share it with your colleagues, share it on Twitter. I love when I can find notes from conferences like ISTE. I had serious FOMO from not being able to attend ISTE, but everybody that was posting and sharing, I truly appreciated it. You know, the presenters were sharing as well. So it was nice to kind of feel like you were there when you really weren't. I sure did miss it. So the final part of mine was to give you some time to pause and play. I'm going to pass it to my friend Ryan, but if you choose to do this pause and play on your own, please share it on Twitter, tag me so I can see what it looks like. I would love to amplify your voice in that spaces. But yeah, check out Wakelet. It's great, like I said, to take notes while you're attending sessions just like this one.
Amy, thank you so much. And yeah, I recommend everyone just jumping on that collection and trying out that activity there as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Amy. And I'm going to bring Ryan on. Over to you. And again, you should be able to share your screen. So let's, yeah, hopefully you can do that. But I'll let you jump on.
We're going to hope, so we'll see. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I can or not. Let me see here. I got a new laptop, so I'm trying to, there we go. I'll see, I can't.
The switch
All
over.
right, so
all the permissions.
Yeah.
I know, but So the Mac will make me go back and restart the process. So I just want to talk a little bit today about the professional development aspect, and I put the collection in there. And when we talk about professional development aspects with Wakelet, somebody else said this too, when you're presenting, I love to just share Wakelet with and from Wakelet itself. It just makes so much more sense for me. When you look at professional development, I work with 22 school districts in the western side of New York State. And it can be hard for everybody to get to the sessions they want to get to because you have to have subs, you have to have coverage, you have to get to that location. It doesn't always work the nicest way that we want to. And then there's other issues with professional development. You do make it to the session and they give you your paper-based copy and you're so excited that you're taking notes and you're filling it out and you're trying it. And then you realize that was the only copy that you had. And that's happened on numerous occasions where you're like, man, I was so bummed that I wrote on that copy because now I can't bring it back with me. Or you forget that they shared links and websites and you didn't get a chance to write them down. And in that moment, that becomes really hard because now you can't go back and find those resources. But Wakelet is there for the win because you're able to put all of your resources and materials already in there. Your PDFs can be in there as well, so you can print them off. You can write on that copy at your workshop and then go back and you can print off extra copies later on. Makes that distribution process a whole lot more. And you can also get away from that fire hose where just someone's giving you content nonstop and make it a more collaborative learning experience where we can open up that Wakelet collection. I can allow contributors, which is what I did with that collection that's here, where I'm asking for like, what do you use PD? How do you use Wakelet in your professional development sessions? What examples or templates do you have that other people could use and steal and borrow and create as templates for themselves? And some of the examples that we've used Wakelet in our districts and region because we've been able to make student playlists or teacher playlists where they can understand top to bottom what they are going through with that collection. I can start them off with some sort of beginning activity and icebreaker, and then it can see the schedule for the day. I can have activities, the slides are in there, videos, all of the resources and materials are curated. It could be choice boards and having different activities where they can pick and choose what activity it is that they want to do to showcase their learning. It could be jigsaws, it could be newsletters, taking your edu protocols and turning it into Wakelet collections. So like a gallery walk where you could have that as participants go around and they answer questions, they could be answering the questions through the use of Wakelet. So I love bringing in the edu protocols book and tying that into the Wakelet collections aspect. And again, that's just a sample. There's a whole bunch more activities that are available to process. Inside of that example, you'll see how I've used it for a couple of different ideas. We've got playlists for Fortnite Creative where I share not just the lesson plans where they're going through the activities to learn how to use the Fortnite Creative Hour of Code lessons, but then there's also the tutorial videos for each lesson because we have some people who are visual learners and they don't want to just learn from looking at the teacher guide. They also want to be able to watch the video, pause, do, and then come back and start that video back up again. So being able to hit all of those different aspects really helps through the use of Wakelet. So if you get a chance, click on that link, feel free to add your use cases for Wakelet, and I'd be really happy to see if anybody wanted anything in there. Please fill that Wakelet full and steal, beg, borrow, whatever it is that you want to that's in there. And yes, Don, I do want additions to my Wakelet, so please add them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at first I was like, uh-oh, I added something, and then you
please add away. That's what we want to see. We want you to add. We want you to learn and grow and experience and show us something new that we haven't seen yet.
Fab. Thank you so much, Ryan. Yeah, we've put that link in the chat as well, so that everyone can jump on and share all the ideas. So there's been quite a few things that you can jump onto. So we'll make sure when we send out like certificates and the recording of the session and things that you've got all of those links. So because we know there was quite a few shared there and so many great ideas, and we want you to jump on and share all of those that were shared. But thank you all so much for jumping on. I know it didn't go exactly exactly the plan with the breakout rooms. Oh, that was fun. That's what I'm going to say. But thank you everyone so much for joining as well. Misbah's back on. Hey, Misbah. And I think we're going to round off with another.
Amy, can
moment? Yeah, please do.
Can I add one or two more things? So, and I put it in the chat, if you don't have the Chrome extension, it is a game changer. It is so easy. Like, I keep standards-based grading, equity issue, you know, any of those things. I've got collections for them. And when I'm reading something, boom, just add it. And it goes there, and I've shared that with the superintendent or whomever needs it. And then the other thing, and I'm sure that Amy and Ryan would agree, the Wakelet people are phenomenal. I mean,
Amen.
They will
Absolutely.
I can't even. I mean, I've been Amy and James when they had their first horseshoe in the United States, when they had their first Chicago style pizza. I mean, but everybody there is just so awesome and helpful and that. So I just wanted to put that plug in there as well.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Don.
I needed that one. In education for the right reasons. I completely agree with you, Don. Yep.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, a lot of love in the chat as well for that extension. And I agree. I absolutely love it. It stops me having millions of tabs open. Don't get me wrong, I'm still guilty of it sometimes. However, it does help me just save it down on the go. And there's, even if you don't have a collection for it just yet, you can just start bookmarking away and then save it down later. So a few people are asking about that one, and we'll make sure that that's in the resources with the collection that we share out, because then it's simply a case of downloading it, putting it on your Chrome. I think we've got it in Safari and Edge, that's the one. So you can download it on them and use it on all of those. But I do recommend that one, especially if you're just getting started, to just start saving down different articles and items, and then you can start putting them into collections. So great tip there, Dom. But thank you so much for joining. Misbah, I was going to pass over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's pretty much summarized what I wanted to say anyway. Thank you all so much for joining. There are a few things that you can do just to help continue your journey after this. There is a Twitter chat happening immediately after this workshop, so everyone can get involved in that, ask some questions, answer some questions. And again, because the theme of this webinar has been all about networking, Twitter chats are honestly some of the best way to meet new people and pump up those follower numbers and get following some accounts yourself. You get to understand a little bit more about what people's specialties are, what their aspirations are, and so on and so forth, based on their answers. So go ahead and retweet them all, and get involved in that Twitter chat. Also, we're sharing a academic planner, aren't we, in the chat? So you'll get a link to that, which you can all use to plan the rest of, well, not the rest, the beginning of your school year, and so on and so forth. But yeah, honestly, thank you all so much to our speakers today. Amy, Don, Ryan, you did such an incredible job. Thank you for your compliments as well. I felt myself going red when you spoke about the Wakelet team. We appreciate it, but honestly, we can't do what we do without the you know, the contributions and the talent of this incredible community all coming together. So as a parting comment, if you would, take this as a prompt for you to tonight, using the next 5 or 10 minutes and during the Twitter chat, to really reach out and make some friends and help build this community up, and your contributions to it are what make it what it is. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you all in the Twitter chat later on. And somebody's asked for a link for the Twitter chat. If you just head to our at Wakelet on Twitter, you'll get all of the information there. Thank you all so much. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and yeah, if you've not started school just yet, good luck for the new school year. See you all soon.